Take the plunge and listen to Guernsey Deep Dive. Don't forget to like, share, and follow.
Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're going into some, well, frankly, quite unsettling courtroom dramas that played out recently over on the island of Guernsey. We're focusing on the story of Jason Francis Tardif. He's a former prison officer, and his actions really shine a light on that complex dynamic between trust and authority.
Exactly. Our mission today really is to unpack these two incidents. They're distinct, but both led to convictions for Tardif. We'll get into the court proceedings, the testimony, and then try to understand the bigger picture. What does this tell us about accountability, about power? Especially within institutions, there's some surprising details here, and it definitely makes you think about respect, responsibility, all those nuances.
Okay, so let's start with that first case. Jason Francis Tardif, 53, from St. Sampson. He was a former Guernsey prison officer at the time this happened, and it started seemingly professionally enough. He invited a young woman for career advice, maybe a job at the prison where he worked.
That sounds okay on the surface.
But the meeting itself took a really dark turn.
It definitely did. This was October 14th, 2022, at his home. And the woman's account in court, well, it was pretty clear and disturbing. She testified that he told her to stand up, said, "This is how you perform a body search," and then ran his hands along her arms, down her sides.
Wow.
Yeah. And then later, they were on a sofa, apparently looking at paperwork, and he moved closer, touched her knee. Without consent, she said. Made her feel really uncomfortable.
And there was more, wasn't there, as she was leaving?
As she was trying to leave, he stopped her, put his hands on her shoulders, and then made some kind of sexual comment about her body. Just awful.
Gosh, her testimony must have been powerful. She described it making her skin crawl, feeling creeped out.
Exactly. And she highlighted that he'd seemed like a nice guy at first, which, probably made the violation feel even worse.
Yeah, that sense of betrayal.
Definitely. She also recalled trying to physically move away from him, trying to speed up the conversation just to get out of there.
And in court, how did that play out? I mean, how crucial is that kind of emotional testimony?
Oh, it's incredibly important. It adds context, depth. It shows the impact beyond just the physical actions. It helps the court understand the violation of trust, the non-consensual nature of it all. The Crown Advocate, Chris Dunford, argued Tardif had more than recruitment on his mind. Pretty clear.
And Tardif's defense?
He denied it. Denied deliberately touching her, denied the sexual remark. His advocate, Alan Marion, argued any contact was accidental, with no sexual intent.
But the court didn't agree.
No. Lieutenant Bailiff Russell Finch was very clear in the judgment. He said, the court is sure the touching was sexual in nature, and that certainty led straight to a conviction for sexual assault.
Just, a real abuse of that initial professional context. And then, astonishingly, this same person, Jason Francis Tardif, faces another conviction for a complete separate incident. Let's talk about that second one, the massage appointment.
Right. This happened on June 28th. Tardif booked a full-body massage, supposedly for shoulder and leg pain. But according to the therapist, things felt off right from the start. Before the massage even began, he told her he wasn't wearing any boxer shorts.
Oh, God.
Yeah. She said it immediately put her on high alert. Understandably. Then, during the massage, he apparently made inappropriate comments laced with innuendo. And then at one point, he wafted the towel that was covering him between his legs, exposed himself to her for a few seconds.
Just, wow. Did he do anything else?
She also testified he put his arms behind his head, seemed to be deliberately positioning himself to watch his thighs being massaged. Just really inappropriate behavior all around.
And the court believed her account.
Completely. Judge Gary Perry called her an honest and compelling witness, said she was determined to tell the truth, and stated, quite firmly, I accepted her account in its entirety. He also noted she kept her composure remarkably well, despite describing such distressing events.
Okay, so what was Tardif's defense this time?
He pleaded not guilty, specifically to intentionally exposing himself with the intent to cause alarm or distress. He called the allegations an absolute crock of lies, claimed only his leg hair was exposed.
Right.
But Judge Gary Perry didn't buy it at all, stated plainly that Tardif did not tell the truth in court. Now, here's an interesting legal point. The judge didn't find enough evidence that Tardif intended to cause alarm or distress, which was the specific charge.
Ah, okay, so not guilty of that specific charge.
Correct. But the judge absolutely found his actions were sexually motivated. So he found him guilty on an alternative charge of indecent behavior.
I see. So still a conviction, but under a slightly different legal definition.
Exactly. It highlights how specific the law can be. And the judge added a pretty pointed comment, too. Sadly, this is yet another case of a middle-aged man somehow believing that a very young woman might find him attractive.
Oof. So let's pull these threads together. We have Jason Francis Tardif, former senior prison officer, convicted of sexual assault in one case, indecent behavior in another.
Correct. 2 distinct incidents, 2 separate convictions. And the sentencing reflected that. He received a total of 10 weeks in jail, 6 weeks for the sexual assault, and then another 4 weeks for the indecent behavior to be served consecutively.
And did the judge comment on his former role?
Yes, Judge Gary Perry did. He acknowledged Tardif's previous good character, which is standard, but he really emphasized that Tardif held a senior role in the community, the implication being, a greater responsibility, a higher standard expected.
Did the judge mention the impact of jail on a former prison officer?
He did. He noted that a prison sentence for you as a prison officer will have harsher consequences than it might have for others. But he immediately followed that by stressing consistency. The court must be consistent in the way that it deals with these kind of offenses.
So the seriousness of the crime and consistency outweighed other factors.
Essentially, yes. It shows the court balancing individual circumstances against the nature of the offense and the need for public justice.
Now, there were a couple of other background details. His wife, Carrie Tardif, holds a significant position herself, right?
Yes, she's Guernsey's Royal Court Chief Probation Officer, which obviously raises potential conflict of interest questions.
And how is that handled?
Very carefully, it seems. The probation report for Tardif's sentencing was actually produced by the team in Jersey, specifically to ensure full independence.
Okay, that makes sense. Procedural integrity. And what's the current status? Has he served the time?
Well, he appealed the prison sentence, and he's actually been bailed pending that appeal. The next court date available isn't until October 17th, apparently, so it's still ongoing in that sense.
Right. So looking at the bigger picture then, what do these cases really tell us?
I think the source material puts it well. They paint a stark picture of how trust can be misused, particularly by those holding positions of authority. That's the core issue, isn't it? It forces us to think about accountability, not just for Tardif, but within institutions generally. How do we ensure people in positions of power don't abuse it? And we absolutely have to acknowledge the courage of the 2 women involved here. Speaking out in these situations is incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. Their willingness to come forward was crucial.
Vital. Without them, these behaviors might never have come to light, and there certainly wouldn't have been convictions. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of believing victims and supporting them.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into these Guernsey cases, it feels like we've gone beyond just the legal facts. We've really touched on these deeper themes of integrity, respect, and responsibility in society. It definitely makes you think about those lines, sometimes subtle, sometimes really not subtle at all, between acceptable professional conduct and, serious misconduct.
Yeah, and maybe that leaves you, the listener, with a final thought. What really stands out to you from all this about those dynamics? Authority, consent, power. How can understanding cases like these maybe make us all a bit more aware, more mindful of respect and responsibility in our own interactions, whether professional or personal? It's definitely something to reflect on, those often hidden boundaries of power and why consent is just non-negotiable.
Thanks for listening to Guernsey Deep Dive. Don't forget to follow for the latest updates. Any questions or queries, email guernseydeepdive@gmail.com.